is an interesting historical piece about the Sabbath. Isn't it true that Ethiopia was only a Sabbath-keeping country until the beginning of the 16th century, maybe, when Sunday was added? And since you are an historian, I think that would be of interest to enter that into this conversation record.
Okay, well, I'll come back to that. But before I do that, let me go back to where we were, about the missionaries. Mm-hmm. As you were speaking, a thought came to my mind. Mm-hmm. You know, it is sometimes unwise to mention names, because in doing so, you give credit to some, you don't give to the others. Mm-hmm. Because there were many others besides the ones I mentioned. Mm-hmm. And so when I started naming some persons, I was taking a risk of being blamed. Others would be disappointed. But in general, let me say, all the missionaries I knew who came to Ethiopia were men and women who were prepared to make a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. They have sacrificed lives, talents, time, money. For instance, Mr. Hansen died there, we mentioned. But Mrs. Study was killed by the Italians while she was working in the hospital in Addis. She died right there by a straight bullet. She gave her life. Her husband had to carry her dead body back home. And the Jensen family lost 2 of their children in 1 week while they were establishing the work in West Ethiopia in Gimbi. And what is sad is that the father was not there at the mission station when the children died. He was out in the bush trying to evangelize. And there was no communication to reach him, no telephone, nothing. A runner had to be sent. And this runner had to go way back in the bush and tell him that his 2 children have died. That is a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. And the Saunders.
And Saunders, that's right.
They also lost.
They lost one of their girls in Gimbi. Mm-hmm. And her grave is still there. The mother has written on the tombstone, on the gravestone, she says, the flower was picked here to blossom in heaven. That was the thing she had written on
the tombstone.
On the tombstone. Mm-hmm. So there are many who have sacrificed a lot. In general, I would say, God bless them. Mm-hmm. And we appreciate every one of them.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go back to the Sabbath issue.
So, the question about the Sabbath is when...
Ethiopia was a Sabbath-keeping country, is my understanding.
Yes.
There's some Jewish connection and all that.
Yes.
And of course, when we read Acts chapter 7 in the Bible, it says an Ethiopian official went to Jerusalem to worship God.
Yes.
We know Ethiopia was not a Christian country then, so it must be the Jewish God, Yahweh, that he went to worship. Mm-hmm. The record also says that he became a Christian on his way back. So, was it up to the 16th century? Ethiopia was only, once she became Christian, I believe the Sabbath keeping goes back even before Ethiopia became a Christian, but even after Ethiopia became a Christian around 340 AD or so, the Sabbath was the only day of worship Ethiopia kept, observed. Mm-hmm. How did that change?
Well, this is important, very important question. You know, as you have hinted already, Ethiopia had connections with the Jewish state Israel many years back, even before the birth of Christ. And before Ethiopia became a Christian, I think it had to do with the connection of the visit of the Queen of Sheba to the courts of Solomon, And following that, according to Ethiopian tradition, the Ark of the Covenant came to Ethiopia, and those Jews who came to Ethiopia were, of course, Sabbath keepers, true Sabbath keepers. So before Christianity came to Ethiopia, Judaism was in Ethiopia. And those who had accepted their faith were Sabbath keepers. And this was followed by the gentleman you have mentioned, around 34 AD, the Ethiopian eunuch who had been worshipping in Jerusalem, who was met by Philip and was baptized. When he came back home, although the Bible doesn't tell us, but history mentions that he came back home and the palace accepted his belief and they were Christians, they became Christians. That was it. And then in the 4th century, because of those two boys from Syria who had a shipwreck at the Red Sea, again they were rescued by the Ethiopians, they were brought to the palace, and in those days the Sabbath was kept also. This is the second instance, or the third instance, when Sabbath keepers came to Ethiopia. And so, from the beginning, Ethiopians, as Jews, were Sabbath keepers, and when they accepted Christianity, the Sabbath was still maintained. Although they accepted Christ, but the Sabbath was changed. They were still Sabbath keepers. But then, the Muslim invasion came. And Ethiopia was cut off from Europe and from the rest of the world. Like the historian Gibbon says, Ethiopia slept nearly 1,000 years, forgetting the world by which she was forgotten. So no communication. In the 12th century, again, connection was established between Ethiopia and the outside world, the Christian world, especially the Coptic Christians, from whom the bishops of Ethiopia used to come from Alexandria. They were originally
in Egypt.
In Egypt, yeah. They were from Egypt always. But because of this break of communication, unable to come, Ethiopia was without any priests, any bishops from Alexandria for a long, long time. But in the 12th century, there came the first one. And when he came, he found the people of Ethiopia worshipping on Sabbath, keeping the Sabbath. And he said to them, now, you are out of step. The Christian world doesn't keep Sunday anymore.
Saturday.
Saturday, yes, right. Doesn't keep Saturday, but Sunday. This happened because you were cut off. You didn't have any connection. Mm-hmm. But now I'm coming here, and I'm telling you, this is what the rest of the world does, and this is what it must be. Keep Sunday, not Saturday. And Eustatius, a man by the name of Eustatius from the Coptic Church, he says to him, okay, but then show us from the Bible that Saturday is changed to Sunday, and we will follow. And this man says, I'm telling you, it's not from the Bible. I'm telling you what the church is doing, what the general church is teaching. But he says, no, but that's not good enough to tell me that because the people in Cairo are keeping Sunday, we should also keep Sunday here. That's not good enough. It doesn't have any authority, that statement. What I would like to see is, show it to me from the Bible that Saturday is changed to Sunday and we will accept it. Of course, there is none, no proof. And so there was a fight between this Egyptian bishop and the Ethiopian Christians. So much so finally the thing was reported to Yaakov, the king. This problem was reported to him. And then Yaakov says, let us compromise. It's a compromise. The compromise is this. Those of you who would like to keep Sunday. And those of you who would like to keep Saturday, you are free to keep Saturday. And others who would like to keep both, you are free to do so. But the bishop was not happy, the Egyptian bishop. He wanted him to rule, saying that it is only Sunday they should keep. And so refusing, without accepting the suggestion from the emperor, this Egyptian priest was so tough and mean, persecuting these Christians, flogging them even, putting them in jail for keeping Saturday. It's terrible. So this man runs away, the leader runs away from Ethiopia, comes to Cairo to report to the high priest here, the chief one, what had happened. He came and reported. And the Egyptian head of the Orthodox Church says to him, you should agree with your leaders back home. I cannot give you any different ruling. What I advise you is to go back. Just accept what has been suggested. And the man says, no, I will not go back to Ethiopia. I will die in Jerusalem. Instead of going to Ethiopia, I'm going to go to the Holy Land. That's it. I will not live in Ethiopia where people are forced to keep Sunday instead of Saturday. I will not go back to Ethiopia and live slave, having lost my freedom. I will stay here, and he stayed there. And that is how the Sabbath was preserved. So the majority of the Christians chose to keep both days. That's why if you go today to Tigray, Gondar, Gojam, North Shore, and West Wallo, they all keep both days. They keep Saturday, they keep Sunday.